Just got back from a long, exhausting hike. Found these nice 2 shed antlers. They go together, a right and a left pair. Found the left side first, about 10 yards away. This one was sitting on the other side. I was walking down the wash. Found the left one on the right side, and this right one on the left side of the wash. Not too far away from each other. Still got nice, good color. A little white on these sides. They were laying down like this. I figured they dropped off the head and rolled because they were on a slant, the hill. But nice antlers. They just got some weird problems going on with the back tine. So try to get off a 6-point. Nice sheds.
Welcome to the Cuttercast Vlogcast. My name is Seth Larson, and on today's episode, we are sitting down with the one and the only Eric Chesser. Now, most of you already know Eric from the YouTube channel Hushin', or his personal YouTube channel, Eric Chesser Outdoors, and also probably from the many social media platforms in existence. Few of you may know that Eric's actually been self-filming his outdoor experiences and life passions long before the thing called YouTube ever existed, and long before there was ever even a platform to put his content on. His story is one of passion, hard work, dedication, and ultimately success. Eric Chesser today is an icon in the outdoor industry, but that didn't happen overnight. His story is inspiring to me, and I think it's going to be inspiring to you as well. So without further ado, here's the vlog life with Eric Chesser.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, guys. So we are here. This is the first time I've ever seen this, but we're in Eric's garage. It's quite the office space, to say the least. You've got a lot of antler in here and a few well-recognized bowls in here. A couple bucks I remember seeing. This one up here above me.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's gnarly how it still has the velvet on it. It like never really came off.
No, weird. Old buck, super old buck. Just worn down from the rut. And for whatever reason, that velvet stayed on there, which I kind of think that happens if they let it dry too long and don't rub early. But kind of weird for how dark his antlers are that was still stayed on there.
I know. It's a sweet buck. Well, today we're actually going to take a look at your history of the very beginnings all the way up until today. I want to hit you with a couple things that you're probably very well aware of first to kind of set the stage. Then we'll go back into the past. So
I like it.
I was just looking really quick. There's very few people who are going to watch or listen to this Cuttercast who don't know who you are.
You never know.
I'm assuming there will be some who don't. Hopefully, right? Hopefully we reach enough people to where there's some that don't know you, like the majority do. But if you don't know Eric, he's like consistently filling tags and not just with your average raghorn bull. Like he'll go to an OTC and smash a great bull. He's killed great bucks. You're currently, this is pretty incredible. I know you've been doing it for a while, but I think the Hushin' channel is at 374,000 subs.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty awesome. You have a personal channel that's at like 33,000 subs. You have social media platforms that are either really established or are growing rapidly. But let's go way back, because a lot of people are going to see those numbers or who have seen you for a while. And some people assume like, oh, you just get lucky, or you just need to know a few people, or you're just videoing yourself. And it's not that big of an accomplishment, but that's huge to anybody who's attempted at all to try to do any of that. It's thoroughly impressive, but you didn't start out with almost 500,000 subs on YouTube. You started out at a pretty young age, from what I understand, taking out one of those big camcorders and filming yourself before YouTube existed, before there were platforms to even post content to. How young were you when you started out, and and why were you doing that?
Well, I would say that it truly started in high school, like sophomore year high school, and taking photography class. And it wasn't because like I liked photography. It was because it was required. It was one of your prerequisites or whatever. So I ended up taking photography, and this is back when, I'm not sure if they still do this in the high school, but you had to print and develop your film and actually print your own photos.
Yeah.
And, man, I thought that was the coolest process. My aunt on my mom's side let me borrow her SLR. This is before DSLR, right?
Yeah.
The new digital one. So I had her Canon SLR, and I would develop and make my own photos. And that led to just enjoying capturing stuff on photo and just having fun in the darkroom printing your own stuff. And that led to wanting to video the same things. So for those who are listening that don't know me, I'm 38 years old. This was well over 20 years ago. I get my first video camera for Christmas. You know, and it's a cool story because...
Did you ask for a video camera?
I asked for a video camera for Christmas, and I know for a fact that my parents had to finance that thing. You know, probably making the $20 payments at the local electronics store here in Utah, RC Willey.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's where it all started, man. I loved, and again, at this age, I wasn't a hunter. I had never gone and hunted and shot anything. But I was starting to get into the shed antler hunting. So, you know, here in my garage, you can see right there on the table, I got a bunch of the old high 8 tapes. That's where it all started. I love to capture moments, whether it was skateboarding, snowboarding. I was just going to
ask you, were you skateboarding? Because I rode BMX, and that's what got me into filming and editing things very early on, is us hitting those plywood jumps out on the sidewalk. And
oh, yeah. I mean, we did that. Like, I did that with all my friends, especially through high school. But it truly was the wildlife I wanted. I wanted to get a camera to film wildlife. So the first thing I did when I got the camera was run out here west of Salt Lake to a place called Butterfield Canyon, which was not developed back then. Now they got Harriman out there, and it's really developed. But there used to be mule deer everywhere because we have the copper mine out there, and it's a lot of private land. So there was just always mule deer bucks on the sides of the roads. And so I would just take my video camera, and I could have sworn I was like Mr. like National Geographic up and comer, you know.
Documentaries.
Yeah. So that's where it all started. Like you said, there was no platform to share it on. There was no such thing as social media. This is before I got, you know, introduced to internet. And I just love to capture it so I can take it home, plug in the old red and blue cables, the audio videos, and show whoever I can get to sit down and watch it, which was typically mom and dad, or maybe a couple of my high school friends that had no interest in what I was showing them. You know, like, hey, look at these bucks I filmed. They're like, cool. I don't get it, dude. Like, what? Bro. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really where it all started.
It's my biggest set of deer sheds, and pretty glad I found something that big. Got cheaters on both sides. Right there.
So, the draw... You started filming, and you'd share it with family, any friends that would watch. What was your personal draw? Like, why was that something you were interested in? What sucked you into that? Because a lot of people are like, cool, yeah, a camera, you can capture something, but they could care less to do so.
Yeah, for me it was trying to inspire some of my friends to have interest in this, so they can
early on.
Oh really? Yeah, so they can come with me. So imagine this, like grow up in West Jordan, basically a suburb of Salt Lake City. So I'm in the city. Most people consider it the city. And I don't have friends that are interested in shed antler hunting back in 1999.
Yeah.
They're literally zero. I have zero friends that like antlers, and I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So if they're not interested, maybe if I go capture some cool stuff, bugle in an elk, find a shed antler, and I take it home and show them, they might be like, you're right, this does look cool. Let's go. And I did talk a few friends into it, but not many. But the whole reason why is I just felt like whether it was my parents or friends, one, I'm going to show them what they're missing out on. Mm-hmm. And two, maybe I can inspire someone to like want to do it with me.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
Going alone all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, my high school friends, which again were the skateboarders, the snowboarders, you know, we did all those type of activities together. They would still to this day be like, yeah, Eric lived like a double life. All week he'd hang out, skateboard, hit the, you know, the church four-step stairs and do kick flips, all that. And then literally he disappears on the weekend. We don't know where he goes.
So you're going out at that age by yourself? Was your dad hunting and stuff? My
dad definitely introduced me to hunting. And he grew up in Fillmore, Utah. So it was like you hunt to eat type of thing growing up. And he's still that way, which I love to remind people, like, it's nothing to do with antlers. It's nothing to do with score. He truly loves to hunt for the best meat. So he introduced it to me. Now when the shed hunting thing came, he didn't do that. I mean, he would always tell me stories of like, yeah, son, when we would see sheds, we just pick them up and put them in the bush so we don't step on them the next time, or to trip on them. So when I got into shed hunting, he didn't have much knowledge other than they're just out there in the sagebrush, just go get them. So he would take me and drop me off before I had a license myself to drive. But yeah, once I got the license, it was me solo, Suzuki Samurai, I'm out.
Started raining, so I started hiking back. And just in the big, huge wash, found this antler. Looks to be fresh. Looks to be pretty nice. Oh, yes, it is fresh. Oh, yeah. Yes. It started raining like crazy. Had to get out of there. Nice. Oh. So far, it's the first fresh shed that we found for 2000, unless they found some.
That's awesome.
And that was just my getaway.
That's sweet. That's cool. That's a good getaway. How did you go? Okay, so you're in high school. You've got this big video camera that you're getting out, filming things, trying to get people to come with you through seeing your experiences. How do you transition from that to where it becomes more a part of your profession and what you're doing? Because obviously you did start to surround yourself with people who were passionate about hunting as well. But even then, very few people were carrying around cameras unless they were wanting to get clients, right? And so they'd film a hunt. I mean, there's the old Eastman videos and stuff like that, or the Muley Crazies and stuff
DVDs.
like that. DVDs that you could get. How do you transition? How does Eric Chesser transition from a teenager that's doing it to try to influence friends and people to come with him, and because he's passionate about it, to where it's more a part of your thing and your career moving forward?
Man, there's a lot of important pivots in that whole timeline. But the short story, which we can go into detail with other questions that you probably have, but filming for fun, and wishing it could be a career. I remember literally wishing, why doesn't the things I love doing equal a good career? My sister was a registered nurse, and she always knew she loved to help people. She loved to give back, and that equaled a great career. Yeah. I'm I wish filming deer equaled a career. It didn't. It literally didn't. But the people I looked up to at the time was Ryan Hatch was doing stuff. Mike Brownlee's probably my number one role model growing up, because he was making these VHS videos even before the DVD phase, and he was filming bucks on the winter range, picking up their sheds consistently. So I'm from the outside looking in, I thought Mike Brownlee at that point, that was his job. I didn't realize he owned a business and built fences and had other things. I think he did fences. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't quote me on that. I might be getting two people mixed up. But I thought that was his job. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a dream job. Film deer, pick up shed, sell VHS, you know. So for me, it was going from like wanting to do it for fun, you know, aspiring obviously to have a TV show one day. And as things changed with internet, chat forums, and then slowly into social media, I just kind of like followed where the trends were going to share it. I would say not knowing that the video could end up being like a full-time thing. I didn't fully understand it. I knew it could be, but I only thought it would be in TV.
So as technology is changing and improving, this whole time you're still going out and filming?
Oh, yeah. That never quits. That's
you just
like,
don't have a platform yet that you're actually actively sharing with other people.
Yeah, I'm just doing it for fun because I'm truly passionate about it and I love to share. So how it really started, the first time I would say I really started sharing was when chat forums came out, things like Monster Muleys. That was my number one chat forum. And for me, the way I looked at it was like, once I got the internet, again, I was young, you know, and I consumed everything, hunting, shed antlers, hunting, like anything about that. I consumed so much content, like literally Google shed antlers, Google hunting forums, Google everything. I mean, I just sat there and consumed. So for me, sharing was a way of giving back to the community. You know, because how can I take from this community so much? How can I just absorb? I'm looking for knowledge. I'm looking for how-to videos, like how to scout. How could I not like give back and entertain as well and give some tips? So that's where it started. Monster Muleys was probably the first platform I was able to share still photos. And at that time, I didn't really understand like how do I get this tape to the internet?
Yeah,
that was a hard process. That was like a lot to learn. It's so easy now with cell phones.
Yeah.
But back then, that just wasn't like you don't just get content and have it on the internet.
Yeah, there's a conversion process.
So again, a long story, you know, and a lot of details in between. But one of the biggest like pivots in the videoing side of thing is I was working at Sportsman's Warehouse for many years in the shoe department. And I connected with who at the time was just a customer. His name's Jim Giles. And he would just come in and all of a sudden, like we would just start chatting. You know, it started off like, hey, I need some boots. Oh, where are you going? What do you do? I you know, guide elk hunts and I manage a CWMU and we film. And I'm like, oh, you film. And again, these aren't common conversations I'm having with people because like you said, not everybody's packing a camera.
Yeah.
So when you connect with someone like that, like I did with Jim, it would just be the conversation every time he'd come in, which eventually led to, hey, would you like to come film elk hunts and deer hunts on the CWMU in southern Utah? And I was like, yep. Quit my job at Sportsman's.
Just like that?
Oh, dude, like 2 weeks. And he goes, dude, I didn't think you were going to quit your job. I'm like, no, I want to film. And so for a period of time there, I was filming for other people. Some of that footage became TV shows. There was, you know, a gentleman who had a TV show in Mexico, and he used his elk hunt that I filmed for his TV show. So again, just navigating and like going with every opportunity I could find, taking advantage of those opportunities, but again, never stopping, just documenting and sharing when I could.
See, I want to point that out too because I think it's unique for a lot of people. A lot of people see the glory of it and like the popularity maybe of it, and they don't think about the behind the scenes. Like there's so much work that goes into creating good content and sharing it with people, and people just see the sharing side of it and think that's great, and they go to get into it, and I think they fall out really quick because they don't like the non-glory side of the 20 hours at the computer trying to edit a video.
For sure.
And the fact that you're creating this content because you're passionate about it and you want to share it, that's also different than just being like, yeah, I want people to know who I am.
And that's the funny thing is, like you said, if someone just landed on my page right now, they would just see like, oh, this guy, you know, got lucky or he's got a camera guy, like they do all the work. And dude, it's like, it goes so many years back. Just with these old tapes we mentioned, I've been pulling some of those and kind of converting them over. And finally, one of them had a timestamp. And it was 1999. It was my first, shed antlers I had ever found. Again, before I ever killed a deer, before I ever decided to pick up a weapon. I've got footage of myself holding my first set of elk sheds. 1999. So that's what, 22 years ago?
Yeah.
And, you get people now like frustrated that after 6 months of uploading, they're like not getting the traction they wanted. And I'm just like, I want to give someone all the advice I've got and then be like, call me in 20 years and follow it though. And call me in 20 years and tell me how it worked.
Yeah.
Because that's how long I've been doing it, 20 years. Now, again, I wasn't sharing it at the cadence that I am now because there just wasn't available.
There wasn't the opportunity.
But yeah, that, you peel back the onion, you kind of see those years and years of doing it, but doing it just because I loved it, not knowing it could ever lead to what it is now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's a cool story. I like to flash back on the old pictures and videos, and just be like, yeah, you get a lot of flack on social media sometimes, and it's like if you only knew where this all came from and how it came about.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. That's so frustrating too. People are really quick to assume and never actually know the whole story. So you get this job filming at the CWMU, filming some hunts there, and then what? How the first time I saw you is on YouTube, having a ton of fun, making me super jealous while I was at work, picking up sheds, filming awesome bulls, great bucks with the Tines Up crew. So how do we go from filming for the CWMU, really making a dream come true for you, to where I think people really started recognizing Eric Chesser and what's going on?
Yeah, so there was a time frame where I was filming at the CWMU and working for Jim and his buddy Barry, and I've had so much in the field training. It was kind of like the on-the-job training thing. Like I learned so much from Jim, his friends, everyone I was around. So I've really learned how to film a hunt, when it's important to hit record, how to sneak with them and hunt with them, and know what angles. And I learned a lot from there. And then there was this overlapping period where I started working with the guys at Tines Up, which for those who don't know, it's a small company here in Utah, and we had a chat forum online, kind of back in that stage, and they were producing DVDs. So that's kind of that like shift where I was doing both kind of for a little while, which led to then eventually being like the full time at Tines Up. And again, it was all about, even more so in that frame, it was filming other people.
Right.
It was filming, this guy's hunt, that guy's hunt, helping this guy. And so again, the type of content has shifted a little bit, but I noticed in the Tines Up time that I would go film my brother's hunts, my hunts, and sometimes they would, make the DVD. And I would get a lot of people coming up to me like, hey, Eric, like, great DVD. Love the hunt with your brother. Just because it was a general season buck, over-the-counter tag, public land, and I can relate with that.
Very relatable.
Dude, I caught on to that really quick. And I tried to, talk to my partners at the time, like, hey, guys, I'm getting a lot of great feedback on this. They say, like, even though these other bucks are great and big and giant, they're coming from private land most of the time, they seem to really enjoy these, like, relatable hunts or these relatable moments or hunting with our brother, not a client. So I picked up on that real early. That's awesome. That relatability stuff was,
super
what people
important.
enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always awesome to watch those videos and like to see a 400-inch bull. But there are so very few of us that's a reality or can even be a possibility. So that's crazy that you picked up on that so early, and it seems to have molded the way you move forward too.
Yeah.
Future.
So during all this time, I'm still, I got introduced and started hunting myself. So that's one thing that we need to bring into the equation is Eric decides he's going to hunt, pull the trigger. And I got
when did you decide? And
I was
why?
like either 20 or 21. I need to really look back to nail out the exact year. So up to that point, I loved to shed antler hunt and I enjoyed filming other people's hunts. And then I was getting into the gym pretty heavily and actually started competing in fitness shows like bodybuilding, men's physique. Those who know will understand. But the diet that my nutritionist put me on was, 6 ounces of chicken, 1 cup of broccoli, like so much meat. And here I am buying all this meat, going hunting with everybody, but buying all this meat at the store finally just hit me like, I need to try hunting so I can get that freezer full of meat. Like, the only way I'm going to know if this is for me is to pull the trigger. So yeah, people again that would just land on my page is probably like, this guy's probably hunted his whole life. And I was around it a little bit growing up. My dad would take me on the hunt, but I didn't get to see and be a part of a lot of it because I grew up my youngest age in California.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was about 20, 21 years old. I shot my first deer, and it was really just because I wanted to see if this was for me, and I wanted a freezer full of meat.
That's awesome.
So that's where that started. But what was the question I was on right there?
Just how you realize that a lot of people like the relatability of like personal hunts. You're in there working with Tines Up, maybe talking to them about, hey, we should focus on that.
Mm-hmm. So in the like during all this time, I'm still filming my own hunts. Most of the time, whether I didn't get one.
What are you doing with? Where are you putting? Are you just filing?
I just have this footage. Yeah,
those away?
I'm filming and taking photos and sharing them with my friends, and any of the stuff that never made the DVD, it wasn't cool enough. I just had show my friends. So that's the thing is I started piling up a lot of this video that was just more storytelling.
Just got done picking up that 6-point I found, took some pictures, walked up the hill, and noticed this guy. Could it be the match? Sure looks like it. Funny G2 on him. Looks like I got a set, baby. 2 or 3 years old, laying out here just rotting away. Boy, am I happy to come scoop them up. White, cracked or not, I don't care. This is fun.
And looking back, I think that's what I still enjoy to this day is you've got like the guys who geek out about the cameras and the cinematography, and I can definitely appreciate that. The amount of work that goes into that is like crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm not that guy. I like to document and story tell. So I've been doing that. Yeah, just banking those videos, and a lot of it's never been seen. And hopefully, I can start, cutting some of this old footage and sharing it. It's just so easy now.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you go from that then to were the Tines Up when you were working at Tines Up? Were they open to the idea of doing maybe more personal hunts, more OTC? More getting them. Was YouTube around at that time? Had it opened up? Had it started?
So yeah, this is another big pivot in my life, career, whatever you want to call this, is working with Tines Up. Casey Levere, who is now my partner in Hush, Casey, he introduces himself to me at the Hunt Expo, and he's like, "Hey man, I do YouTube. I make a living on YouTube," and instantly like light bulb. I'm like, "All right, like you make a living on YouTube? Like how?" So up to that point, I would say we leveraged YouTube as like a promo, like highlight, get the DVD at timesup.com, So it's like, don't spill the beans, but like give them a taste on YouTube, and hopefully they'll come to the website and buy the DVD. But Casey kind of opened my eyes, and it was even a year after that I really connected with Casey and had him sit down with me, because in that year I started to analyze YouTube in a different way. Like when I started watching anybody from like prank channels, all this funny stuff that was going on YouTube at the time, I would analyze it, follow it, and study. And I'd be like, okay, like, this guy's doing good. His subscribers are going up. Like this guy just mentioned a discount code. He's probably making money on that. This guy shared a link to his merch. Like it's all making sense, right? I'm seeing the vision. And then another big thing was that you can monetize the YouTube channel. So I bring this information back to Tines Up, and Casey recommends 1 video a week, and he comes up with this name. You should call it Tines Up Tuesday. I was like, dude, great idea. I'll start I'll start sharing some of this video that will never make a DVD, and I'll start making these Tines Up Tuesday episodes. So I started the YouTube channel for Tines Up and ran those episodes.
Dude, I watched those. I loved them too.
Yeah, they were fun, right? Because it was the first time where you got more of the story of a buck or more of the story of a trip versus like the highlights and the music and picking it up for the first time, and that's it. You got to see like all the stuff.
Hiking in there. I remember one you guys like ran out of water and you were clear back in there. Yeah.
I still get comments on that. That's episode 1. And Tad and I went out, and people still were like, dude, it's so funny when you were vlogging, and, like, you had a bloody nose, but you were, like, motivated to get to the next ridge because, you know, you were saying Tad was going to beat you to the bone zone, you know. They're fun episodes, and that was kind of the first time that we made that style of video. And Casey was a huge influence on that. I mean, without Casey's ideas, we would have just, you know, used the platform as more of like a teaser platform.
Which you had to have been losing so much footage because just to get the footage for a teaser is like hours of footage behind that's not being used.
I know that, and that's what I thought. Like I would sit over, like one of my partners was Reggie. I'd sit over Reggie's shoulder while he went through his hard drive, and I'm like, I found myself being like, Reggie, this is insane. Like your photos, like all this video, all your film of these big bulls, like I seriously can just sift through your hard drive and be entertained for hours and days, you know, like, so I felt like if it hit me that way, that maybe other people would enjoy it too. And I think that's the truth. Like a lot of the content, everyone thinks, oh, that's boring or that's normal for my life. It's interesting to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's why vlogging is so popular. Like how can I show what I do in a day and have 30,000 people want to watch it? But it makes sense. It's interesting to some people.
Yeah, and most of it's really relatable or motivating.
Again,
like people seeing you choosing to stay fit, for example. It's motivated me before. It motivates me regularly. Like, and I try to do something about it. But it's so relatable, so motivating.
Yeah, that's kind of where that big pivot in the content and the business side of things is when I met Casey and he kind of introduced me to YouTube.
That's awesome.
That was a big change of like, again, because one of the things I valued at first was that you can monetize YouTube videos. And I thought that was like the answer because we would sell DVDs. You can only sell so many. But if we put up this content on YouTube, you make money forever as long as the video is getting views. So I'm like, dude, just imagine if we build our library.
And you guys were pumping out some pretty sweet videos.
Oh, yeah. I would say
awesome content.
Some of the best at its time. Like, I mean, we were ahead of the curve. Casey had his channel, Hushin' with Levere, which he had a great following, which he brought mostly over from his personal channel. And then there was Tines Up. Like, nobody was doing it.
Yeah.
The channel would be the biggest hunting YouTube channel in the world. I will confidently say that. Had Tines Up continued to do that and grow with it, it'd be the biggest hunting YouTube channel in the world.
I would totally agree with that. Like, I have no problem with that because, like you said, nobody was doing it. And every time you guys launched a Tines Up Tuesday, I don't know what your views were, but I know I consumed them all. Like they were, because people also there's a lot of people that are passionate about that don't get to go out and do it all the time. Like they have to schedule, make time to go do it on a weekend. It's not like, whenever they want. So to be able to sit doing homework and throw up a Tines Up Tuesday and watch you guys out doing what I wish I could be doing, it's super fun to watch. When you started this Tines Up Tuesday, you know the platform now, you know the possibilities. Did you start uploading your own videos that you were filming for yourself on a channel at that time?
So the Eric Chesser channel was built in 2006 or started on YouTube, which is funny because I look back at 2006. I'm like, how did I even get footage onto YouTube? Like, how did I figure that out? I don't know, but if you go back and look at some of my oldest videos, it was like typical dun-dun, shed antlers, a clip here, a clip there, and then I'd slide in a photo of a Tines Up shirt. Like,
oh, yeah.
I always understood again, I don't consider myself an expert at any of this stuff.
Well, you are, because you've been doing it for 20 years. So technically, you're over the 10,000 hour mark. You're
people,
an expert.
People say that, but I'm like, I just knew that somehow, like, throwing a promo or a doc, hey, visit our website, tinedsup.com. Hey, here's some antlers, do. Here's our shirt, do. I'm like,
that's basic TV marketing. It's not a set aside commercial. It's just thrown in there, but it's doing the same thing.
Yeah. So like, I just knew somehow that eyeballs were valuable. Then we can get them to the website. Maybe they'll buy a shirt or something. So yeah, that's what I started doing. I started my channel in 2006, but really when I started uploading consistently to the Tines Up channel, it was just a lot of footage I had access to that I knew wouldn't make the DVD.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was my personal stuff that I was filming. And so that's why a lot of people, I don't know, like a lot of people are like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I would either take footage that I knew wouldn't make the DVD, or some of the first episodes I would splice part of the DVD. Once it got, that DVD's getting old, sales have dropped, let's recycle that hunt and put it on YouTube, and we can monetize it that way.
There we go. First brown of 2013 right there. Not bad. It's a good way to start.
Why do you think the Tines Up crew, why weren't they catching the vision of the possibilities there? Because I think you were trying to sell them, at least help them understand the potential, and you were headed that way with the Tines Up Tuesdays, and it was new, so I'm trying to put myself back then too.
Yeah.
Like I remember taking my Canon GL2 and plugging it into the computer, and you'd have to transfer from a tape to that. But like Casey had the vision, and he's like trickling some of that to you, and you're seeing the vision. Where'd the lack of vision or understanding or trust with the platform?
The biggest thing I feel like they thought was, if we put content on YouTube, we won't sell DVDs. Instead of seeing it as a period to transition, it was, if we put the content on YouTube, it will decline our sales.
Were people on YouTube back then only making money from monetizing it, or were people already starting to establish partnerships with other companies?
Yeah, so at that time, I would see like the mainstream stuff, whether it was fitness or family vlogging, whatever, they're starting to do these deals, right? The brand deals. Big ones. Verizon, Pepsi. And that goes back to like what Casey Levere's channel was doing. He was getting these big brand deals.
On vlogs?
Like that was
Verizon and stuff?
That was going down back then.
Oh, wow.
Now, the hunting industry wasn't there. I mean, if I would have called someone and been like, "Hey, dude, I'll sell you I'll sell you on my YouTube channel," they're like, "What even is that?" Yeah. And we struggled with that in the first couple years of even the Hush channel. People just didn't understand YouTube, and they didn't realize that people were starting to go there to consume hunting content. So again, thankfully for Casey, kind of building that traction early on the Hush channel, and getting that subscriber base up and that momentum going, so that when me and BMAC came on board, like, we had a great foundation and we just ran with it.
Yeah, it's totally, I'm seeing a risk versus reward thing here. With you risk losing DVD sales, which I think you guys were predominantly living off of.
Yeah, but you can already feel it. You can see it. If you would look at the trends, like, we ordered 1,000 DVDs, 750 of them are sitting in the basement. And you gotta just be aware, like, hey, we're these are slowing down. Like, we gotta transition somehow into something.
So you're wanting to move forward. You're seeing the potential, the possibilities. Maybe your partners aren't quite there yet, and you start talking more with Casey then at that time, or?
Yeah, so Casey, again, introduced himself to me. We played phone tag. We finally met in person. He's helped me start the Tines Up channel. And the partnership with Tines Up was just fading. I mean, for whatever reason, it just wasn't working out. We all had different visions. You got a lot of different,
goals.
Yeah, different goals, different visions, different, you could sit there and like, well, this guy's doing more work. All those conversations that anybody who's been in a partnership. So I split ways with Tines Up and almost instantly started working with Casey, which started with that movie premiere and showing the Fireable video for the first time. So again, sitting on this content for over a year, knowing like, this is awesome footage. I can't wait to share it with people, but just,
Why didn't you throw it up on your channel like right away?
Well, honestly, because I had a vision that would
like
that
it's
it
one
would
of the most remarkable hunts ever, with the most famous bull killed. Not the biggest bull ever killed, but has to be one of the most famous bulls ever killed. And you're just sitting on this footage.
Well, to be honest, this is why. So I killed the bull in 2013, but I think it was 3 years before that, I did a DVD premiere Wednesday night before the Hunt Expo. And it was a Tines Up event where we would play our DVD and launch the DVD at the night before the expo and then sell the DVD at the expo. And I picked up that idea through like the snowboarding industry, because they'd have them here in Salt Lake down at the University of Utah, and you'd go and you'd, hype up, sit in a theater, watch a snowboard film. I was like, why can't we do that in the hunting industry? So I called a local dollar movie and I rent in the theater. So we did that for 3 years. And then the next year should have been the Firebull hunt. But that's when we split ways. So I'm sitting on Firebull footage going, I had a vision that it would be launched on the movie. So here I am, solo Eric, like, got the footage. I'm not going to go rent in the theater by myself, and it's a weird time to like transition out of something I gave my heart and soul into. And be like, I'm not a part of it. Right? Erica Tines Up. I'm not that anymore. It's a weird thing to go through.
It has to be weird.
Yeah,
and
not
it
knowing.
Was noticed, right? It was big.
Yeah, not knowing what's next. Like, what do I do? And then I was an employee at a local gym selling gym memberships. I knew Casey was sitting on an Idaho elk hunt that I filmed for him, which I knew was cool. And so there I am sitting on the bench upstairs, in between sets. And I'm just like, I'm supposed to have Firebull is supposed to be at the movie. Like, that's my vision. That's what I always expected, and that's kind of what I want it to be. So I text Casey, hey, man, do you want to rent the movie theater and have a movie premiere with me? And his reply instantly was capital letters, hell yeah, 5 exclamation marks. And so thankfully for Casey, like, he had the money to rent in the theater. We showed the Firebull video. He showed his Idaho elk hunt. He also mixed in some antelope hunting that he hadn't shared. So again,
how did you collab? Just Eric and Casey?
We went into it with Eric and Casey are having a movie premiere, and it slowly adapted to like a hush event, like a hush and event. Whole nother story that we'll have to follow up a podcast on our story together. But that's where Brian came in, because he already knew Casey. They were kind of working on that together, and Casey and I were at dinner, and Brian looks at me and goes, Casey has what you need, which is a platform, a lot of eyeballs. Eric has what you need, Casey, which is free time, content, time to dump into the channel. Why don't we just combine forces and work together? So the movie premiere was not intended to bring us together into Hush. It did. Because the results was 2 sold-out shows. No marketing, like just putting it on our Instagrams, like, hey guys, movie night, sold 2 shows, and just the feedback was great. And I just really like connected with Casey, and like we seem to have the same vision, goals, like even the reasons why we love to hunt, we're in line. And then
that puts so much into perspective for people who might not know the details of your story and why the Firebull is such a central part of your apparel and branding and who you guys are. But really, I mean, that video, which my wife does great impersonations of.
So many good one-liners.
Stop being shy, but
I love it.
That really did. That was like the birth of Get Hushin'.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would agree, and I'd say the number one comment that I get from people at expos was, the first video I saw was Firebull, and I've watched you ever since,
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew the video was special. I mean, watch it if you haven't watched it. And it's like, this doesn't happen,
You
like
have
ever.
to go watch it. If you have not seen it, you have to go watch it. I've seen it so many times. It's because it doesn't happen. And it's so incredible on such an incredible bowl too.
Yeah, it's a classic. And, but that's why, I think it, like you said, it's helped launch the brand, and then it slowly, eventually the antler became our mark, became our logo. And that's what's unique about the logo is it came from something original. And when I launched it, I really told people, hey guys, like, we're going to make this into a design. And I just want you to feel that when you wear it, it's that extra motivation. When you wear that and you're down on the mountain, like, just look at your hat, look at your wristband, look at your T-shirt. Like, just remember, anything can happen with hard work. Don't give up. Work hard, have fun, and that's kind of what the mark meant. So when I launched it, and I really put a lot of emphasis on that, guys, this is what this antler logo means to me, and I want you to wear it proudly. And it resonated with people, and man, we sold a pile of that stuff.
Yeah. So speaking of apparel, you guys sell a lot of apparel. I see Hush apparel everywhere we go, every event in every state we go to, which I don't see from other outdoor industry people at all. I don't see that from like Adidas and Nike. I see more Hush hats and shirts everywhere I go. It's crazy. And you guys have you're expanding your apparel line, I'm assuming, because you guys, I think, got into Shills, was it last year? And that seems to be exploding for you guys.
Yeah, it has done great. The apparel on our website has done amazing, and our supporters just seem to enjoy it. And I love that because I'm selling a product that I always think about it this way, like, you can get a shirt and a hat at a thrift store, at Walmart, $7, $5, $10. Mm-hmm. But people choose to support and wear our stuff. And it means so much to me. Like, I appreciate that so much because they're not necessity items.
Right.
But like I said, when people wear the stuff, I want them to feel something, be a part of a community, be a part of a family, and feel motivated and inspired, whether that's go to the gym, work harder on the mountain, etc. But we got into the local Shills. It started here in Utah, which they have one in Sandy. And, growing up in retail, I started in General Army Navy. It's a, Army Navy surplus store that my aunt and uncle own here in Utah. I worked there for many years in my teenage years. And then on to Sportsman's Warehouse for 5 years in the shoe department. But yeah, you see a clothing brand, for me, it's going back to the Sportsman's Warehouse days. You see a clothing brand on the shelf and you're like, that's so cool. Like, those people are designing antler shirts and like mule deer shirts and like, making money. You always, from the outside in, you're like, they're rich. You would just assume.
Yeah, you would assume.
Dude, if they're in here, they're rich. If they're in Sportsman's, they must be rich. Like, this guy sells window decals. He's probably rich. Yeah. Looking back, like, these are probably side hustles for most of those people. Mm-hmm. But Shills has been a great addition because we have established a foundation direct to consumer on the internet, which I think is the most powerful. But it's nice. It started out here in Utah, and it was always nice because I'd get DMs like, hey, Eric, I'm passing through Utah. Where can I come and get a hat? It's like, ooh, hate to tell you, man, but we're online. Now I could say, hey, dude, we're at local Shills. Yeah, and now we could say that for like 26 of their stores.
We get that daily.
Yeah,
daily.
Right?
I'm answering emails about, hey, dude, I just want to swing by and pick up a cutter. Like, where can I? Sorry, we got a fulfillment center and online. Like, you can go to the bow shop, call them, and see if they have some in stock. Yeah. But it's not like I look forward to that possibility too.
Yep. And looking back at like the days where I was like, they must be banking off this. It's actually the opposite. Like, we don't make a lot of money when we go to the big box stores because there's obviously the margins to split. But I like it because it's a convenience for the people who have a local Shills or are driving through Utah and just want to stop and get one today. Like, not 3 days, 5 days shipping, but I want one now, like that orange hat. If you're going on a rifle hunt and you don't have an orange hat, you need it now. So now we can offer that convenience to our our customers. That's cool.
Awesome.
Through Shields. So super thankful for all the people at Shields. The local Shields have been so great to work with, and now moving into the corporate stuff, they've been so great to work with.
That's awesome. Okay, couple questions to finish this off.
All right, here we go.
You've been filming hunts, your daily life activities for 20 years. Do you ever get sick of it? Like, are there days where you're like, I don't want to carry a camera around? Because I mentioned this before we started recording. Times that I've been around you are often times where we're like trying to just hang out and shoot some arrows or just talk. And you always still have a camera. And you'll always pull it out and at least get a couple clips where most people are like, no, I don't mind. Like, do you get tired of doing it?
Yes and no. I'll explain on that. So on the hunting side of things, when I'm on the mountain, when I'm shed hunting, it is not an inconvenience whatsoever. It is habit. Because I started doing it at such a young age, filming and documenting is a part of my experience.
Right.
It would not be the same without it. I don't even understand that that's a thing.
That you do it and not
Who does
film it.
that? So, for example, someone did ask this question, Eric, do you ever get sick of filming your hunts? So this was specific to like, do you ever get sick of filming your hunts? And I had to take a pause, and my answer was like, I didn't know there was anything other way. Like I didn't know there was
That's crazy.
a way
but
of
you
not
wouldn't.
doing it that way.
You've always been filming those hunts.
So it's natural to me, and that's what people ask. Like, Eric, how do you go for those moments? It comes first. If I am shed hunting or filming a deer hunt, I come around the corner, a glass, a buck, or see a shed antler, my first reaction is reach for my camera. It's just the way it is. It's not going to change. Now, when you come to the personal channel that I have, the Eric Chesser channel, and the daily vlog, yes, it does come to my, like, I don't want to film, or who wants to watch this? I have that, I have to
already seen me do this before.
Yes, exactly. Like daily vlog. Here I am in my garage. Everyone's seen the garage. Here I am, like washing my truck and going to the gym. I do that every day. So those are the moments that I'm like, one, not motivated, two, overthinking it. But yeah, when it comes to the hunting, there's no other way.
That's awesome.
It doesn't exist in my life. To go hunting and not film doesn't exist in my life. That's so crazy to say that.
That is so crazy.
Because that's the norm probably for most people.
Yeah.
Until now, where we all have smartphones and we pull out and get
it's easy,
we get snippets here and there.
But you're not pulling out a smartphone unless you're busting out a story or a little TikTok, I guess. But like, that is crazy to think about, but it makes sense. If you've been doing it, if you're associating hunting and filming, those two have always gone together in your life, it would be weird not to be doing it, where it's the opposite for 98% of people.
And that's why for those who, may come to my channel and don't know me and are like, this guy's so lucky, he's made a business out of this, right? But it would be hard not to if you did not enjoy the filming and sharing part. So a lot of people come to me, Eric, I would love to do YouTube. I'd love to make a living like you do. And I'm like, do you like filming? No, not really. Do you like being in front of a camera? No. I'm like, dude, you're going to have to train yourself to do that. Where I just had years of training, I guess. Yeah. But because I love to film and share, and then there's this social media platform and somehow there's a way to monetize it. When you have both, like I do, I feel like that's why I'm able to excel, is because I enjoy the whole process.
That's awesome.
Where someone else might be like, I want to start a YouTube channel to make money, and they just don't love the process, and it's never going to work,
Yeah,
So I'm awesome. Lucky, I guess, in that way that I enjoy both.
That's sweet. Okay, well, you guys Hush is knocking on 400,000 subs. Like I mentioned before, crushing these platforms. But what's in your future? Like, what do you envision becoming? Where's Eric Chesser in the future? Well, is he still grinding the YouTube videos out, or do you see yourself transitioning into a entirely different phase where maybe that's not going to go away, but it's not so central?
Well, I don't see myself ever stopping filming. like, again, that how
It's
could
just-
I go on a
your
hunt
life.
and not film it? So I feel like there will always be Eric Chesser will always love filming, documenting, and sharing. The business side of stuff is growing on me, definitely through this process. And for people who don't know me, probably don't realize how much of the back end I'm involved in with Brian and Casey and engaged in on visionary things like ideas, product development. That's all going to come in, and I definitely want to roll in that. But my number one role is definitely to create content. I love to connect with people. I love to like the branding stuff. Like I love to create products that people love and enjoy. So yeah, I see myself kind of riding this wave the way it is for quite a while, dude.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Randy, when I think about it,
Oh,
like
my word, yeah.
when I think about like how long does this last? Because we don't know. Like social media is new. Not many people have retired from YouTube. Not many people have like. There's no blueprint on this process that we're building right now. Social media. But when I think about like what could the longevity be of this brand or this platform, I look to Randy Newberg, who created content on TV. He always had a vision that, you know, he could create better content, you know, public land, and he kind of had that message of why he wanted to. And you look at Randy, he's an older gentleman, and he has shifted to social media and is probably crushing it more now than he ever has.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as long as I stay true to who I am, as long as Hush stays true to our why, which is to give back and inspire, to acquire new hunters, and to bring awareness to conservation, public land access issues. If we do that, like, I don't see an end to this.
Yeah.
I really don't. And if we want to bring, what I would like to see, though, is bring in products that we can provide for our community that they love and will want to support us through those purchases.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
That's cool, dude.
all of that.
It's going to happen, too. It's going to happen.
I still feel like we have just scratched the surface.
Yeah, isn't that crazy, though, too?
It's
like
crazy.
You've been crushing for years now, and you're still, like, scratching the surface.
Just getting started.
That's the other thing that I notice with our small little gig here at Canvas Cutter is we have these goals that are just like, man, I can't wait to get there. And then you get there and you realize that there is so much more out in front of you, and that it is possible to obtain it. And so that fire just keeps getting fueled.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
It's fun, man. The blend of social media and e-commerce and building community and content, like, it's just such a cool, perfect storm for anybody who, like, thrives off of that.
Yeah. All right, so I want to end each of these episodes with a couple would you rathers. Now, I had a really hard time coming up with a couple for you. I just want you to know.
You think they're going to be tough or easy?
I just think they could be possibly lame. That's my concern. For some reason, some people I'm like, oh, I've got an easy would you rather, right? Would you rather get kicked in the face by a mule or whatever, right? So here's my first would you rather.
You just want quick answers, detailed answers, or what?
You just decide which one you would rather do.
Deal.
Would you rather have a successful YouTube channel and not be able to work out, or be able to work out and not have a successful YouTube channel?
I'd have to pick option B.
Work out
And not have a successful YouTube video channel.
Really?
I mean,
So that's super important to you.
Fitness is
really
right.
important to you.
the side of me that's got the social media love where I get all the fans, whatever you want to call it, is through my hunting stuff. But fitness is just as much, could possibly be even more of my life than hunting.
I'm hearing a future podcast here. I'm hearing a future. Okay, continue though.
I love fitness and health. And again, it was a getaway. Like, it was my go-to spot to check out, to work on myself. I love lifting. I always grew up playing sports. But yeah, if I couldn't dude, I don't know what, I'd go crazy. If I was like, Eric, you have a giant YouTube channel, all is well, I'd be like, but I'm like,
empty inside.
Empty, dude. Yeah, like it's my daily routine. I'll go 2 times. You know, if I'm in town and have the time, I'll go twice in a day, and it's mostly because I work at home. I don't have that social life that you would get going to a 9 to 5 where you have employees and clients and people in and out. So here I am in the shop, which I love. But, dude, I need to get out.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not out hunting on the mountain, I'm home.
Okay. That actually surprised me a little bit. I thought it might be a struggle, but you answered it a little faster than I thought.
I have to work out. I'd go crazy.
Last one. You're not a pet owner.
Nope.
But I'm going to put you in a position where you are. If you were a pet owner, would you rather own a 3-legged dog that barks all the time or a blind Shetland pony?
What the heck?
Now remember, both pets come with responsibility, and you're a busy guy. So as a pet owner, you're either going to have to get somebody to hang out, watch, and you're going to have to care for, when you're here, either a blind Shetland pony or a 3-legged dog that barks all the time.
That's really hard because honestly, both of them could create great content. That's the first thing I think about. I'm like, dude, I could have a YouTube channel of a blind Shetland pony like walking into stuff, like literally upload every day.
Oh my word!
Or I could have a 3-legged dog that's like adorable, and like it could have its own YouTube channel.
It just doesn't shut up. It barks at everything.
That's annoying, but at least there's a shock collar.
There is, but it doesn't always work. # personal experience. But
okay, so I have no experience with like the pony life, so I would choose the dog for sure. Like, I don't love the barking, so I would definitely train the barking collar. But I would give that 3-legged dog like the best life.
Yeah, okay, I love it.
But I would do it for the pony too.
Dude, my dream, and it will happen one day, y'all will see this, but I am going to have a Shetland pony ranch one day. I joked about it in high school, but I have not stopped talking about that vision. Like, I just, the man from Snowy River, and he's like cracking the whip, and there's like all these horses. I want to do that, but have Shetland ponies in front of me, like 50 of them, like whoosh, the snow's flying. They're like coming over a hill. Anyways, that was way too personal.
That's a great goal, though.
Yeah, we're setting them.
Sell canvas cutter, get a Shetland pony ranch,
there
like
you go.
Ride off in the sunset on your Shetland pony.
Well, I don't know if I could ride one. I'd probably crush it, but I would herd them. Dude, Eric, thank you so much for your time and coming
Absolutely.
on. I
It's been
appreciate
fun.
it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
What an inspiring story. Eric, thank you so much for making time to come on the Cuttercast and to share it with us. And on behalf of the literally hundreds of thousands of people whom you have inspired, me being included, thank you. Please keep doing the good work that you are doing. Now, if you are a Cuttercast listener or watcher, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, and don't forget, if you're listening, to leave a review. It helps us out a lot. And until next time, bye.